a review or even just something, a quick bullet point of ideas that you think need to be of challenging ideas that need to be hit right now?
Sure. I mean, I guess what you're asking for is some sort of a report for the existing conditions, an assessment.
And
I have
then
one.
Solutions that you think might work.
I have one that I made for FEMA. I should step back. During the March 2008 flood event, FEMA declared this county a disaster area. As a result of that, City of Eureka Springs was given a certain amount of money to repair the spillway, which was done, and was done quite well, as a matter of fact. Looks really nice and it's very stable. We also were given a pot of money to repair and stop seepage. The first try at that has been unsuccessful. We're still pursuing that with the contractor. I have provided quite a bit of documentation as a result of that FEMA release of money, that declaration. This was just to kind of orient you, those of you who are unfamiliar with the situation there. Just quick photos. I think photos really say a lot. And we can see the deterioration over time here. I'd be happy to put together, kind of the documentation that I have right now. I think that's, I don't have time to be on a commission or, do other things. So this is my bit to kind of help out the city.
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Sir?
Go ahead. The Carol Boone lift, it is the Carol Boone lift station?
Yes.
And,
no.
Okay.
No. Carol Boone provides pressurized water, treated water
to our lift station.
To the city's lift station.
Well, it's going to come down to formulating a plan and then seeking, assistance, which is a bad time to be seeking assistance. But, basically we have to form a plan of action as to what is cost effective. And, just from what I've heard tonight, there's maybe 3 or 4 options out there, and the price tag attendant to each of those options will probably drive the solution, or at least the plan that we'll endorse.
The available money will drive the solution. That's going to be the bottom line. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Another thought that Mr. Schiniger shared with me was that back in the day he had thought about perhaps draining the lake way down and building an auxiliary, if you will, dam behind the dam and then fixing the face. Would that be at all possible? Would it be quite expensive?
I mean, we've lowered the lake level with siphons.
Yes.
Almost.
Just out there last week.
And we did that again so that the grouting contractors could get back out there and try to stop the seepage through the structure. So we can lower the lake level quite easily.
Right.
And we don't need to build a dam. We just use the siphons and just continue to extend them and keep them running. The problem with rebuilding the structure as we see it now is that it's very unstable. There's a huge liability associated with that. It would take a lot of reinforcement, or basically steel or timber reinforcement to protect workers. If you're talking about removing the crumbling face and starting from the top or the bottom.
Actually, the idea that Mr. Schiniger shared with me was bringing the lake level down significantly, a lot, and then behind the structure that is there, it'd be easiest to show you with this one. And like we have our dam, of course it's built up now, but he was talking about draining the lake way down and then building a dam behind the dam that you wouldn't actually really see when the water was up, building it back here.
And the purpose
and then refacing the dam. Just throwing an idea out there.
And by refacing, do you mean taking the old failing face down and starting from the bottom
In rebuilding it, yes, the
Okay.
stonework more.
And that's what I was referring to. Is I think I understood your question. Your initial question is that's probably going to be fairly costly too, but it would also be a big liability with anybody working on it, removing any of that stonework off there. Plus, you have to buttress and support that upper 8 feet, because we just don't want. You can't just remove that rock.
Right, but what maybe I'm not making myself clear. No. Okay, the idea was that he shared with me. You got the dam there. You're standing there looking at the dam. You're on the ground. You're looking at the dam. Shinnergood talked about draining the lake behind that and building a dam behind the dam.
The water side.
I don't know, perhaps. But it was an interesting idea. I just thought I'd bring it forward. So I'll leave that alone for now.
Well,
I have a huge stack. If you'd like me to bring them to Ann of information about that, I'd be happy to share it with you.
Thank you.
Mr. DeVito.
I think we should take advantage of the graciousness of Mr. Perkypile to
Yeah.
compile some approaches.
Yes.
Certainly.
Well, I've done that, and I've shared with you a few of those. I can kind of tweak that a bit, add some more.
Do you have the ability to estimate?
To estimate costs?
Right.
Well, sure. Now you're only asking for engineering services.
Well, okay, so maybe you're not that gracious.
We want design, estimation.
Here we have
Could you build it, please?
Here we have somebody who's spent a lot of his own time, and I do thank you very much for that.
Yes,
You've
sure.
been more than gracious to the community of availing yourselves of your expertise in regarding that. At some point, we have to pony up and bear our responsibilities. That at least if we know what our alternatives are, then we can start looking for grants and assistance and such, because we can't do it in-house.
I know this isn't going to be a popular decision whichever way we go, but it looks like to me, with protection of the, for lack of the right word, lift pumping station, whatever,
Lift station.
since it is no longer a water source for the city of Eureka Springs, and we're into a safety issue for fire protection if something does happen, which God forbid. Also, if kids get up on top of the canopy at Basin Park and throw rocks off, I could see something just going totally
Been done.
here. I think we need to take a position of safety of the city, both fire and liability, over recreational capability, since we do have Lake Leatherwood to fall back on and do something that would at least protect those two issues, the lift station and the safety of the mangled rocks.
Doug, did you hear something?
Yeah, I agree with Ken on this too. And I appreciate what you're going to do for us, but I'd also like the suggestions from our councilman, Mr. Berry. He is an architect. I'd like his recommendations too.
Mr. Mayor, I bow to Mr. Perkypile. He's the damn expert. And he and I have been out there. And I think what Mr. Perkypile is going to give us are some alternatives, methods of stabilizing that structure, and the cost that it would do, and also to satisfy Mr. Pannell, the cost of removing the structure. And then we can see. Well, you said get rid of it.
No, I'd eliminate the danger of.
Well, there's two ways to eliminate the danger. One, you stabilize it, or two, you remove it. Now
Or he mentioned moving the lift station.
Or relocating or elevating the lift station. Yes,
well,
that's correct.
That's true, but there's a cost there, and the cost is still got the danger of the dam, and it is hazardous, without a doubt, as Ms. Balance and anybody else has been out there. Have you been out there? And it's a beautiful, and I was originally wanted to go back and see the original construction, but since then I'm back to the pocketbook and the wedge concept of taking a bunch of boulders and putting it back up there just to keep the lake back up there. But Mr. Perkypile can give us those alternatives with cost and,
Oh, with cost now.
well, you know, relative, plus or minus, 100,000.
Ms. Balance?
Would it be a good idea for us to restrict access to that area until?
It's posted, and they're
It's
going to
already
move the gate
restricted.
from where it is.
Which can be.
And I don't know the folks that live there, but if you go down to it, if you turn right, you go down into the valley, towards, and I don't know those folks either. But if you turn right or left, there's a residence just below the dam, sitting up on a little bit of a hillside that has a private drive to it, and
Yeah,
the
right.
gate is in between the corner and that driveway.
Yeah.
We're going to get the gate moved further down towards the dam. It is posted. It is posted on the dam. It's posted at the fence around the dam. It's posted very well.
It's posted at the parking lot up above, the lookout by the spillway. I will say, because it's so remote, vandalism has been rampant out there, and the signage oftentimes is either damaged or removed. I went out once, and there were several people climbing around up the spillway and across the top of the dam, and I looked around for all the signs, and they'd all been taken off.
Boy.
Well, that's where we used to go when we skipped school in high school.
These were adults that
Oh, well.
were visitors.
Really
They were
nice.
visitors, and they saw no sign, so they just availed themselves of the.
The first thing we ought to do is take down the Black Bass Dam Lake sign on 62.
Maybe. Mr. Vito?
Would the first step be a request for services, a price that you could shoot us for what it will entail to get this?
I think what I can do is give you at least an order of magnitude cost just on my ticket, just pro bono publico, and so
I'll buy you dinner.
okay, we can do that. I can do that for the city. And we've already gotten down the road a little bit with that. Actually, Lowell Johnson with Johnson Landscaping and Construction has been very helpful in that regard. He's given me some construction quotes. And so between the two of us, we've at least come up with order of magnitude costs. For instance, the one that I described where we use a large stone and grout it together to the old mass, the old face, on the order of probably about $300,000. That's what we're looking at. Yeah.
That's cheap.
When you deal with dams, I'll just tell you that when you deal with dams, they're not inexpensive. They're a hazard that does not go away, and it's up to the city to deal with that. It's a huge liability. As an instance, I believe Mr. Satori told me that the city got a bond for $600,000 to fix Lake Leatherwood Dam, and that was significant. So I would be
It was
happy.
just to anchor it.
Yes,
Yeah.
post tension anchoring.
Ms. Balance?
How about deconstructing it? Is that even a possibility? Because
That's
it's
what Mr. Beer alluded to a while ago. Yeah.
okay.
He thought Mr. Pownell said that.
Well, is it not on the historic register? Could we do something like that?
Sure.
For public safety?
Yeah.
It'd have to be researched, but I believe it is a public. It is
Grant worthy?
for deconstruction? I don't. Usually it's for
Reconstruction.
Yes, sir.
Well, for the sake of expediency, I appreciate all the information you've given us. If we could allow Mr. Perkypile to go back and bring back his best choices, and
Do that by tomorrow, can't you?
because we kept you up late as it is.
On my
idea,
way down to
Jax.
Texas, I'll do it. Yes.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, folks. Next online is discussion.
I need to get my plug in. My
Deduct that.
computer's about.
Doc, recess.
Next discussion on Nellie Clark's home sewage damage. Ms. Balance and Ms. Alexander sponsor.
Motion to discuss item
Motion to
2,
discuss.
new business.
Second.
Motion discussed and seconded. Open for discussion, Mr. Cornell.
Okay, I hope you're ready. I make a motion that